All right, so let's get started. And what we're going to do is we are going to walk through what we're going to do today and just essentially all the places and pieces that we want to hit. So before we get into that, let's just do some house cleaning. So you can use Zoom's chat to interact. Amanda and I will be both kind of keeping an eye on that, as well as the Q&A. The Q&A is important, is helpful too if you feel like if you want somebody to follow up directly with you after the webinar, throw that in the Q&A. That's a great place to put it. We can get reports on that afterwards. We do have support for closed captioning turned on, and I think I have to do that actually. Never mind. Nope, you can do that on your own, I believe. And then we do have various users that may be joining us. So if you don't have Report Builder in your menu and you are an admin, that means that you probably don't have Report Builder. Well, it does mean you don't have Report Builder as a part of your Martus subscription, but we would love to help you with that. You can reach out via the Q&A and Amanda and I can follow up with you, or you can send in a ticket to support and we'll help you out. And then we will send out this video. So either tomorrow or Thursday, you will get a recording of both this afternoon's Watch Me Work and the morning session. All right, so where are we headed? We are going to talk about just some of the basics of Report Builder. We'll talk about how to do a side-by-side dimension, just because sometimes that's a fun comparison to build out. We'll play a little bit with the formatting, and then we'll do some charts and KPIs. So for those of you who just joined, do feel free we're going to build out a report that Karen has asked for to begin with. But then if there's other things that you would love to see built out, just let us know. All right, let's jump over to Martus, and we are going to start in our dashboard report builder. Now I'm going to go ahead, start with our income statement, our enhanced income statement. Now it's very important that when you open any of the templates in Martus, you will need to click on the Save As before you see the edit mode. So you won't ever see the template and edit mode together. That is a Martus staff only feature, but you can click on Save As here, and we're going to go ahead and click OK. So now this is a copy of the report. It's my report. I'm the only one who can see it. Report Builder is a part of, Karen just asked if Report Builder is a part of the Advanced Plus subscription. And yes, if you have the word plus in your subscription, that essentially just means that you have, or actually, yes, Advanced or Advanced Plus includes Report Builder, as does Enterprise. All right, so we have our report here. With Report Builder, our report criteria that's normally on all of our other reports is actually at the top here, but it's not editable from here. We do need to go into our settings to find that. So these are our data sources that we are using in this report. We also have our default groupings. If you're at the Advanced Plus or Standard, well, if you're at the Advanced Plus or Enterprise level, you'll have a reporting group option. And then we have our styles, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I'm going to go into edit mode here. One of the things that we can do with our rows here is we can have our income statement layout like this, where we have our income versus our expenses by account. But I'm going to go ahead and change this section here. And what we're going to do is we're going to just use our account type. And account type allows us to choose which pieces of the income statement we want to show. So right now we're working through, for Karen here, we've got requests to build out just the expenses by department. So I just want the expense type, and then we're going to choose our groupings here, and I'm going to do department, and I'm going to tell Martus to roll up, and we'll look at that and see what it looks like in a minute if we don't roll it up. So now I can come down, and you can see here I have all of my data here at that top level by department. Now I can come in if I want to see those more details and do our expand option, which is going to show me the parent-child relationships. So you can see 292 management in general has all of these other sub-departments. And so we're getting the total there as well as each individual department there. Now I can come in and change this section to, rather than instead of being income versus expense, we can just set this one to income. So it's totally possible we'll have that be account or maybe account category, and we'll just have income here. So let's do account category. So now we have our income by account category. we could even have the accounts underneath that, have another grouping underneath that, and it's different than our expense, which this one has a terrible row name, which is one of the biggest gotchas with the report builder, is that you can define what you want your titles to be on both your rows and columns. And it's really easy to get yourself in a place where they're not matching. Like that just said category summary. And this isn't really a category summary anymore. It's a departmental summary. So I'm gonna say that and we'll hit save. All right. Any questions on that?
Can you just show that versus budget?
Yeah. So these are let's talk about our columns here. So our columns here, right now, this is a period group of our actuals, but we could just do a singular period with our year-to-date total. And so now we've got actually, this should be our ending date. That's essentially pulling our last close month. And we'll hit save. And then we have our budget here for July and the variance. And then we have our year-to-date budget or actuals and budget, and then the annual budget. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to see? Otherwise, we'll probably do a side-by-side dimensional comparison. All right. And feel free to jump in if you see a button that you would like me to push in a different way. I am more than happy to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the end because we're going to end up hiding the columns. And so I just want them at the end to be out of my way. And I'm going to change this to be a dimension. So we're going to do this by department. I'm going to have it rolled up to just that high level, and it's on dimensions. We do want to change the number format to just be a negative side. Yes, Tim, we can. So let me show you how to do that as well. So we're going to pull in our actuals here, and I'm going to hit save. Oops, I need to tell it a period, which would be our year-to-date total. All right, so Tim just asked, can we add in custom subtotal rows where we would determine which accounts are included? And yes, you most definitely can. So we can add a row here. And one of the fun things we can do here is let's add a row below. And if you're at the advanced plus level, which if you're not sure, you can definitely throw in a Q&A if you need to know, but it should tell you in your system right here. You also have reporting groups, which means you can filter any of your rows to any sort of account or dimension combination that you would want to see. But we can add a subtotal here. So we're going to change this to a formula. And let's say we want to bring in, what do we think? Let's do sales and services. What do we think, guys? So that seems like fun. Okay, we'll do that. So we're going to do 4.5 sales. So I'm going to grab anything that would be under that. And I'm going to add to that 4.6 services. And then let's do tuition too, just so that we have an additional one with lots of things in it. And so we'll insert our row of tuition. So this is going to be tuition, sales, and services. And we can hit save. And so now hopefully this number, it should be 1,800, 166. And what's cool is, let's say we actually want this to be more like a totals row. We can click on it and tell Martus to change the title, the format to be a totals row. And then it will look just like our other totals row there. So we could add additional ones here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. That's a new button. And so now I have that row again, and I could do, let's see, 4.2. And it is nice that you can now search in these too. So I can just grab 4.2 and 4.3. Oops, except for I'm searching on the column. And it's definitely a row, so we need to do that. And member fees? Sure, why not? This is grants, contributions, and member fees. And we'll change the style.
Plus button in there.
Thank you, Amanda. See, this is why you need help, or I need help at least. Otherwise, it would have errored at us. All right, so we'll hit save. I thought I told it to go to a formula row. Oh, I did. I don't want a formula row, though. I want a totals row. Okay. And now if let's say those are the only income that I want to look at, maybe I don't want to look at investments and other right now. I can select this line and I can tell Martus to hide that. So I don't really need to see all of that other data. Now, of course, it's going to show in our edit mode because otherwise we would really confuse ourselves. I'm going to hit save again just in case, and then I'm going to unselect edit mode. And so now you can see we have our two departments here all lumped together using that data that's here. So now I may want to add another row below. I like doing copy just because it helps me have at least some of the things set that I want. And I can do income here, and I can just have it tell me my, where is it? It's further down, tuition and service plus our grants. Notice that there's two because we copied them. So we want that top one. And this one we'll save as a totals row. All right, so maybe these ones we don't want to have be totals row. Let's just do select. Well, that will fill them back. Let's just do separated column. That'll be great, I think. It might look a little funky. No, it's all right. All right, so now when we come off of edit mode, you can see we have just those two rows. All right. So I'm going to go back into edit mode and let me know if you guys want to see anything else, but we're going to play some more with these dimensions here. So I've got my actuals as a set of columns, and I'm going to change this one. And this one I'm going to set to dimensions as well. Set that to a negative sign. And then we're going to change this to also department year to date. And for this one, I want my, was the other one actuals or dashboard? I think it was dashboard, so this will be actuals. We'll see. And of course in this, so that's actuals. First one is also actuals, so budget. Budget first, then actuals. All right, so now what we can do is we can take these three fields here. So we're going to take this one, this first field, and I'm going to change it from a period to a formula. And we're going to look at this first column 11 and just have it be that. So it's essentially, this is 1110 youth budget. All right. And then we can also come in and we'll do this one. It's going to be our 11 youth actuals. So I need to change this to formula, which is a bummer because then it removes my header. All right. And then we're going to do our second. So I can search for 1110 too, and I want the second one because that's where our actuals are living. And then we can change we can do column 1, which is our youth budget minus our actuals, and that's showing us our totals there. All right. What if I want pretty colors on your report? Well, you are in luck, Amanda. Let's go ahead and build out our colors. So I'm going to come into settings here, and I'm going to build a color for each department. So I'm going to add style. And if you actually knew what my personal style was, you would think that that was quite hilarious because I don't think I really have one. All right, so we're going to call this youth just so it's easy for us to remember. And we're going to select a color for the background, and we're going to go with our blue scheme here. So I'm going to go with our light blue. Now it is important we hit apply and then hit save. And then we'll add a filter for our counseling here. And we'll make them purple. Don't forget to hit apply and save. And I forgot to counseling, save. All right. And then we'll do one for our food service is 120. And we'll select a color. Now, right now I'm just picking our default colors from our color picker, but I can put in my organization's hex codes or just use my slider and find whatever crazy color I want. This is probably one of those things that just because you can change it to a certain color doesn't necessarily mean you should. So go ahead and hit save. So now we've got 3 of those. So I'm going to hit save on that. And then we can go in and we can make these this is our youth. And again, searching is helpful here because it just saves you from having to scroll through and pick what you're looking for. All right. So there you go, Amanda. Do you like our colors?
Yes, I'm very happy with our colors.
Okay,
And a friendly reminder that when you're being careful with your colors, remember in other places we train that black is good and red is bad. So maybe don't make your whole report red.
I mean, you could really go with it.
I mean, people would think everything was bad.
It's true. It is kind of a universal sign for stop but maybe you don't want your staff spending any more money. So let's just make the whole thing red.
Yes. That could be, but I was thinking about how in the other sections of Martus, we always train people black is good, red is bad. And I was like, then people are going to see red and think it's bad.
Yeah.
However, Melissa is right. If you want everyone to stop spending money, that might be the key right there. Just make your whole report red.
Yeah. So you can see we're updating these other columns here and we can add those, except for I've really got to stop filling that out before I fix my column type here. You can really see how if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, much like I'm not paying attention right now, it's really easy to mess up your report because it's really easy to get your header to not match what your actual data is. And so, of course, we let you have control over the headers so that you can make the report look and feel the way you want it. That does mean you have to be a little bit cautious with your making sure that you're always updating your headers correctly. All right, and that's our column 4 and 5. Perfect. Save. All right. Oh, we forgot to turn it blue. How sad. All right. So we could continue on and do our other ones, but I think we have enough of this concept for now. What I do want to do though is come in here. Oh, good. And we have another comment, but I'm going to hide this real quick. And then I'm also going to hide. And we can, oh, that one, and we'll hide that one. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and take off edit mode. And so you can see now, I don't know why that monthly word is there. Let's get rid of that and we'll hit save. So now notice that we've hidden all of that reference data. So it's not showing anymore. So now we're just seeing that little bit of our report, even though we've got a ton of stuff. And all right. So any questions about any of that? All right. So I want to show you, we'll play a little bit with our sections. So what's cool about our sections is that sometimes it's nice to be able to have different columns on your report. So for example, right now we've got a lot of columns and we're kind of doing it by dimension there, but I can add a section. So I'm going to click on the edit section button and I'm going to add a section above. And then I'm going to click on edit section here. And I'm going to add row below, and I'm going to click on my section again and add a column right. And then I'm going to add another column right. Okay, so now we have 2 columns in a row with absolutely nothing in it. But we're going to come in and we're going to tell this to be a title so we can see what we're seeing, so we know what we're looking at. Does anybody know the difference between update, refresh, and save for all the Martus bonus points in the world? So we're going to do this one and we're just going to do a period here. And we're going to do our year-to-date total and we're going to use our actuals and I'm going to hit save. All right, so now we have our column, but we haven't told it what we want to see on our rows yet. So I'm going to do our gain. We'll do our income statement layout. Why not? And then we're going to do our grouping at the corporation level and I'm going to roll that up. So we're getting just a high level overview. We're going to hit save. And so now I have my income and expense, and maybe that's still too much information for me. So I could, of course, add a row above, and I can have this just be a formula, and we can do total income. That can be that. And then we could add a separator row, and we could do our total expense. And that'll be row 7. And then we have that, and we can hide this one if we want to. And hit save. Take edit mode off. So now at the very top of our report, we just have some high level totals. Really easy to kind of get a report within a report, even without using our KPIs and charts, which is what we're going to look at now. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and go back into edit mode. And I'm going to click on edit section again. And I'm going to add a section above, and we're going to add a KPI section type. So I'm going to go back into my section editor and change this to KPI. Then I'm going to click on save. And now I have another section and I'm going to add a card. Doesn't really matter if you add a card before or after because you don't have any cards to compare it to. So we're going to click on the edit button here and let's go ahead and compare our youth budget to actuals. So I'm going to call this youth budget, or we'll do youth actuals. And so I'm going to come in and grab our value. So it's in section 2. So this is section 1. This is section 2. And our row is going to be our income. And our column is going to be our youth actuals. And we can hit save. And now we've got 322, our youth actuals. Please be right. And it is not. What is going on? Where are we getting?
Did you hide something on yourself?
No, I did not. Let's do total income. Still a weird number and not at all right. I thought I found a workaround for this issue that we were having before. but apparently I did not. Super fun. Okay, well, we're gonna unhide this and see if that doesn't help us out here. And unhide this and unhide this. All right, now I'm gonna hit save and do a full refresh and see if we don't get that number to be correct. And it is still showing 274, which I don't even see 274. Anybody see
I
274?
see 274. I
It
see
is in there.
column B.
I see it.
Second
Yeah.
column.
Yeah.
That's right. Never mind. Wow, I am struggling today. I'm glad you guys are paying attention. All right. So yes, that is correct. 274 is our youth actuals there. After all that, it was working. I just was so gun shy from this morning that I wasn't believing it.
Yeah,
Now,
the 322 is there as well for the income.
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So the other thing that, oh yeah, because we changed it. All right, so let's fix it to total income. All right, let's just change it to income, and then it should be 322. And look at that. All right, so we're good. We're cooking with gas now. Now, one of the things to be aware of is that when you compare the numbers, so a lot of times what you want to do is you may want to say your income versus expenses. And so maybe we're doing a comparison here for our expenses. And again, we want to do 110 youth actuals. Notice that rather than showing the remaining minus the 673, it's actually adding it, and it's because our signs are different here. So what we can do is we can use this as a absolute row, and we can just say that this needs to be our expenses, but in an absolute, and we can hide that if we need to. We don't want it to be a percentage, so why are you doing that? Negative sign. Okay, so now we'll come in here and we'll just tell this that instead of looking at the expense row, to look at this expense versus income, which I did not change the title of, which was a bad plan, but that's okay. So we'll hit save, and now it should be giving us the difference. So we've got 322, and we've spent 673. That would be an unfavorable expense ratio. So we have the red down arrow. So any questions on that or any other comparisons you guys want to see? All right, let's play with some charts then, shall we? All right, so I'm going to click on edit. By the way, one of the things that will get you on Report Builder is if you accidentally click while your mouse is moving, because you can drag and drop your columns in Report Builder, Martus just refreshes the page. It doesn't actually open that edit module. So just kind of be aware of that as you are in Report Builder. I've gotten better at making sure that am not trying to move my mouse while I'm clicking, but I want to add a section above, because we can't change the section type once we have stuff in it, and we'll do our chart. Now, the tabular section is reliant on the data down here. So in order to have a tabular KPI, you have to have the data, and you have to have the data in a row and column. Now, you can hide an entire section. So I can easily hide the whole section. And when I'm looking at my report, I will just see my KPIs. Charts, however, don't need a tabular section. You can just add a chart based on whatever data sources you have in your report settings. So we're going to click on edit section here. The chart. I'm going to add a chart. And this is where sometimes it can be really fun to have various groupings. So we can do department, we'll do our top 12, we'll just do our income by department. And I can come over to my filters and notice that I have my period that I can choose. So right now it's year to date. We could do, if we were looking at budget across the year, we could do the full annual amount. We can do our total types. So we can do income versus expense. If you're at the advanced plus level and you're an intact user, you can also look at the stats for those accounts and line items. Then you can filter to certain corporations. So maybe I just want to see this at our Eastlake Corporation rather than everything. I can do that. And I can apply reporting groups. But we're just going to change our total type to income here. And I'm going to hit save. And so now we've got our bar chart with each department and their income. Although I could have sworn, didn't I have this set to pi? I really thought I had it pi. Let's change it to pi because I like pi. All right, so there's our pie chart for our income. And then let's add another chart. And I want to make sure you guys know, because it actually came up in our team today. Somebody didn't know that we could do this. So we'll do youth income by month. So we can tell this. We're going to do actuals. Grouping is going to be by department. We just want to see the one department. And my subgrouping is going to be month. And then I have my pivot option. Oh, I forgot to tell it chart. So we're going to do a column. I'm going to go over to my filters. Sorry, sometimes this takes a little while. Amanda, we need some Jeopardy music or something. All right. And I'm going to change this to income. And then I'm going to filter just youth and go ahead and hit save. All right. Then I have my youth income by month right there. So sometimes that's really helpful. If you want to see kind of all departments, you could use a stacked column report and still see it overall and then see what kind of percentages each department is contributing to that amount. But that secondary grouping option is what allows you to do it by month. So using that subgrouping and then pivot, which allows that to be on your columns by month. All right. Well, I've got one more gotcha I'm going to show you and then throw out anything else you want to see and we'll build that out. But one of the things I want to show you is that whenever you click on the save button here, Martus does the same thing as it would if you were on like your report builder page and you clicked on a report, which is to say that your ending date is always going to default to your last closed month. Whatever that is set up as in setup calendar, that's what you're going to see. The same thing is true when you come into settings. If you want to see a different month in your report, you can change that ending date, even though it's grayed out. The only thing you don't want to do is hit save. Once you hit save, it's like reloading the report and your ending date is going to refresh to whatever that last closed month is. So if you actually want to view your report with that different date in it, for whatever reason, you don't want to go close your month, you would want to click on this update and refresh. That's what's going to allow Martus to refresh the report with that different ending date. The minute I hit save, it's like Martus is pulling the report again, and it's always going to default to the last closed month, which in our case is July of 2022. So that's one of those things that you can fight with it over and over and over again and not realize what's happening. And it's because you're hitting save. And in Martus, whenever you hit save, it's like you're refreshing the whole report and going back to the defaults, which are always going to be the last closed month. All right, guys, any other questions or anything else I can help you out with today? Well, that's a great question, Karen. At this point, graphs cannot be exported to Excel. You can, of course, grab screenshots of them, but right now our export is only going to export your tabular sections, not your graphs or your KPIs. So that is something that our team is working through and trying to figure out how to do. But right now, it's just the tabular sections. So, all right. Well, I'll hang out for a few minutes. If anybody does have questions and maybe you just want to ask them a little bit more independently, feel free. And Amanda and I will hang out. Amanda, anything else you want to see?
No, you did a great job, Melissa.
Thanks. Yeah, Report Builder is a lot of fun building out different things. The other thing I mentioned before, but you do want to be very careful with your titles and what you are labeling columns, because it's really easy to get yourself all discombobulated if you're not paying attention to that, which most of you on this phone call are probably better at paying attention to what you're doing, hopefully, than I am. Amanda knows I like to push all the buttons and I like to do them very fast. So it's easy for me to.
Melissa, why don't you show them how they can put something like for their people on the welcome screen? What buttons they would need for that?
Yeah. So right now, our Report Builder reports are not able to be saved to the welcome screen, but we'll talk about the financials and how to do that. What you can do, though, as an admin, you can share a report, and any user who has access to Report Builder can see it. Just like any other thing in Martus, they will be filtered to what values they can see. So if they can only see certain dimensions or you have restricted accounts, all of that is honored in Report Builder. But one of the best things to do for your end users, if you haven't done this yet, is to do a couple things. One is to set the default dashboard. So you can see mine is going into my forecast report. This is my favorite Martus report as far as our standard reports go and dashboard financials. I don't have the financial background. I love software and I love teaching people about software. And so I love this job. But this is the report that I think I probably would have used if I was still on a staff at a nonprofit and managing a budget like I used to. Because it's going to give me my actuals through that last closed month and then the budget for the rest of the year and a total, and compare that to what I've budgeted for the whole year and show me how much money I actually have left if I continue to spend according to budget. This report I have set as my default view, but you can also set it as the global default view if you are an admin and save that for all of your end users. The other thing you can do is you can save a report. So on any report, so maybe on this one, I want to save it with my rows to my corporation. I'm going to hit load and I'm going to click on plus here. I'm going to save this as a forecast by corporation. As an admin, I can share this report with all my users and we can come over to our dashboard financials. Our welcome screen. And I can click on any of those reports that have been shared with me or that I have saved. And that's really nice for your end users. And they can also navigate between those here, which allows them to not have to learn what all of the reports are and just learn the reports that you want them to.
Yeah.
So that can be really, really helpful for your end users. And speaking of your end users and the welcome screen, I do want to make sure that everybody knows that next week we're doing something new for Martus as a company, and that we're actually going to host this Watch Me Work webinar, but with your end users in mind. So normally we work to train the trainer. This next week, we're going to invite anybody who is about to start budgeting with their end users or currently start budgeting with their end users to invite those end users to our Watch Me Work. We'll have 2 times, 9 a.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern time. And that's 9 a.m. Sydney time, the 6 p.m. one. But we're going to walk through the basics of a planner worksheet, as well as the very basics of a special purpose worksheet without any formulas in it, how to submit that, then how to report on your budget, as well as how to report on your budget to actual. So we're just going to look at maybe 3 different reports in the system, and we're going to spend some time walking through those worksheets. And the reason I want you to know that is because sometimes we forget that this section here on your welcome screen is not visible to your end users. So only admin users will see that. And so if you want your end users to come, let them know. You can click on this link here and send them that link. I will also send out that upcoming webinars link in our follow-up email with the videos from today to you all. So you'll have that. But definitely if you're in the budgeting season, let us know. We'll also do another one of these series in about 3 months, and we'll do that end user training as well. So if that's more of your timing for when you're budgeting, you may want to wait and have your end users go closer to then. But we definitely are inviting all of our end users to that training and are hoping that it's a good resource for you all as you're getting your users into Martus. So, Amanda, anything else?
No,
Melissa,
thanks
can I ask
everyone
a
for
question?
being here.
Of course. Go for it.
Okay, so I know you were showing us the graphics and we can't export them, but can we meet with our, say, department heads? Because they get the financials like monthly, they have the specific reports, and I like the idea that I can set up specific shared reports for them. But can I set up, like, if I met with them and say, hey, they want to see it in a pie chart, or they want to see it in a graph, a bar chart, or a line graph, can I set that up so that they can see it on their screen? I wouldn't be exporting it, but I'd be doing it right there for them.
Yep, most definitely. And what I suggest for that is if it's just for them, you may actually want to go in to your setup and users when you're sitting with them and actually log in as them and build the report or copy a report that you've built and edit it as them, because then they'll have abilities to change it if they want to, if they're kind of somebody who may get into something like that where they may want to change it. Because the reports belong to whoever owns that report, and only the owner can edit, delete, update that report. Anybody else that it's shared with can definitely copy the report and save it as their own, but they won't be able to make any lasting changes.
Okay, great.
So,
yes.
But yeah, no, that's great. And we highly recommend, use that last closed month email to encourage users to log in. And then if you have them set up with that default report when they're on their welcome screen. So they click the email, they get here, they can jump into whichever report they want, or they can click here or dashboard reports and get into whatever that default report is.
Okay.
So it's really easy to get them to where you want them to be without having to try to teach them everything, which is a lot easier because it's a lot especially if you're not from the financial background. So.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anybody else? All right, guys. And if you do bring end users next week to the training, I highly recommend you sit and watch as well. probably won't be too new as far as information for anybody who's on this call. I recognize a lot of your names, but it's good for you to know what they're what they're seeing, and that way, if they come to you with questions, you'll be ready for them with the answers. So, all right, everybody. Also, in your notes, let us know if this is something that's helpful to you, and or if there are other subjects that you would like us to cover in this format or in our more regular, more kind of formal webinar format. We would love to hear that. So, all right, Amanda, thanks for helping. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
So much fun.
All right, guys, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Great. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Bye.